Hello, everyone. This is David Ellis, and I'm here with Sarah Fox-Smith and Yvonne from Earthymama Wellness. It's an all-star cast today. Sarah was kind enough to join us from her vacation spot on the beach while she's
Yeah.
walking amongst nature. And Yvonne, first of all, introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you, David and Sarah. So I'm Yvonne with Earthymama Wellness. I am a Spinal Flow practitioner. I also work in the beautiful energies of Reiki and Karuna Ki and sound frequencies. And one of my longest passions has actually been working with plant medicines in the essential oil form, being able to awaken your senses in all different types of beautiful ways. And it doesn't really feel like work. I get to play in energies all day in the quantum field, and pretty amazing.
Excellent. Sarah, introduce yourself to those people who don't know who you are already.
I am Sarah Fox-Smith. I am a registered nurse working in Saskatchewan and have a passion for integrative oncology, which means I weave together beautifully conventional systems with complementary systems. And so many people want to integrate practices like what Yvonne offers into their treatments. They just don't know how to, and they don't know whether it's safe, and they don't know the literature around it. And so, because I also weave together in my training a master's in nursing, I have all of the tools really available for patients to give them some really great evidence around energy healing and around how to bring that into their chemotherapy, biotherapy, their surgeries, why, touch is so important and why nature is important as part of your journey. And
You're breaking up, Sarah.
I'm weaving it back in.
Okay. You're breaking up. You were breaking up at the end there. We're going to get back to you. All right, Yvonne, what I'm going to ask you is to explain everything that you do, because there's a few modalities in there, and some of them most people would not have heard of, like spinal flow. It's not how new is that?
It is a newer modality. Yeah. So spinal flow is a coming back to who we truly are. So it's coming back to your breath, coming back to your body. Most importantly, it's coming back to your innate wisdom, and that is your body's innate wisdom to self-heal. So with spinal flow, it's very gentle, but at the same time, super potent in healing wise. So we're working with different access points. I've got my little spine here along your spine, which is our master generator. Our spine, in every culture you can look at, it talks about the importance of our spine. And when we look at it on like a scientific level, it's connected to every single organ in our body. So within spinal flow, we look at it as whatever your body is expressing at that time. It's connected to different blockages that we hold within our spine. And these blockages form from different experiences we've had in life. They form from different traumas in life. We focus mainly on three different main blockages. So there's chemical, physical, and emotional blockages. And I get to just help facilitate and help the body reawaken to its innate natural ability to heal itself. So through our life force energy, which we all have running through us at all times, different names, Kundalini, Prana, Chi, that's always running through us at all times. But when we have these blockages within our body, it's not able to run through us as freely as it should be. And therefore, our cerebral spinal fluid also is not able to run as freely through our body and do its master healing that it does. So as a spinal flow practitioner, I get to just help the body to reawaken, and your body does all the healing. It releases and goes through each vertebrae, knowing exactly where it needs to release and when it needs to release these blockages, and in the timing that it needs to do it. Some of these blockages have been with us since we were in our mother's womb.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe in past lives as well. So some of these blockages came in with us, and we don't even know where they came from. So,
Okay. I really like that because there's a lot of modalities that shun science completely.
mhm.
Right? And here you are, you came with your model spine and everything else to show us that you actually are aware of anatomy, and I really, really, really appreciate that. And I understand that. I always tell practitioners it's always good to have your head in the clouds, but please have your feet on earth at the same time. It,
Yeah.
it makes for a taller experience, Now, Sarah, you're a master's level nurse, and the way Sarah and I met, for those of you who don't know, Sarah and I do cacao ceremonies as of recently together, and we've done actually a couple of events together. We did My Body's My Power as well for cancer patients. And Sarah was doing something very unique that I haven't seen a lot of medical professionals do. She was talking to natural health practitioners. Wow, imagine that. And I'm like, I'm impressed. Well, I come from the business side of healthcare as well. And I looked at what she was doing. I'm like, okay, so Sarah and myself, we take an integrative approach to most things. Okay. So Sarah, and you deal with oncology patients, you deal with people who have cancer diagnoses and so on.
Mhm.
How important is the integrative approach to their hopes for remission and the extending their survivability?
It's actually one of the biggest things that influence people staying in remission long term, which is kind of the goal, is that we don't want to just heal your body for 5 years. We want to heal your body for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And so the literature around it is that when we integrate healing factors or lifestyle factors, that those things actually influence us healing our body long term. So some of the things are like releasing suppressed emotions. And I know that in the work that Yvonne does, a lot of that spinal flow work is releasing. And suppressed emotions aren't just like anger or fear or shame. Sometimes these suppressed emotions are like joy or happiness or
Yep.
nostalgia. And so we teach a lot in my classes around how important it is to foster positive emotions, but also release negative or release suppressed emotions. And the work that Dr. Kelly Turner did in her remission work, which is a big part of my foundation of the work I do with clients, is she talks about that, yes, we can change our diet. Yes, we can move our body more. And yes, we can take herbs and supplements. But the majority of the work is internal. It's having a spiritual practice. It is having a really good support system around you. It's looking at how do I use my intuition, my wisdom to heal my body? How do I have a strong reason for living? And
Yes.
even as I talk about them, I'm like, oh my God, yes, that's a yes for me. And that's what I teach my clients. And I want my clients to meet practitioners who also believe in that, believe in their innate healing, believe in their body's natural ability to find what's really resonates with them and then use that as a modality. And the literature shows it doesn't matter what the modality is. Find something that you connect to and a practitioner that believes in your healing, and that will aid in that journey. So that's why I love the work that Yvonne does so much, is because she gets that idea.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's not just an idea, it's like a deep knowing. We know what you're capable of, and we're going to help you get there.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that because both of you are coming from, and we all can agree here, we all are practitioners. Patient agency, client agency is the paramount thing. There are many people, and I'm going to direct this question to you, Yvonne, who outsource their health and wellness to other people. It's like they go to a practitioner, it could be a medical or traditional allopathic practitioner or complementary practitioner, and they would be like, just fix me. Like, I'm sure you have experienced that. Hi, Yvonne, you just fall on the table, fix me. So, how important is patient and client agency in the healing process?
Thank you so much for bringing that up, David. That is something that I truly try to talk about with everybody. And especially if I'm talking about spinal flow or anything any of the beautiful tools that I have in my medicine basket, I am not healing you. I may be helping your body to reawaken to its innate wisdom and helping you to remember, but I am not healing you. I'm simply holding like sacred space for you on your journey.
Mm-hmm.
And it like Sarah's saying, like that is the foundation of my work, is the body's innate wisdom. There's not anything that I don't believe the body can heal from. And I know just saying that can trigger something for people, right? That triggers, because we're not, especially in Western culture and modern day culture, we're not taught that. We're not taught that our bodies have everything we need to heal. And even within Spinal Flow, people like after sessions will be like, "Oh my gosh, she was so amazing," and I'm like, "It's your body. It's your body." I'm like, I just get to sit, like, I get to watch this. I get to watch your amazing body know
You,
what it needs to do.
you should be paying me. I should be paying you, right? I get it. I get it because it's
I get to
miracle.
witness. Yeah, it's just like what, like I get to witness people's bodies every day doing exactly what they are designed to do, and that in itself is just like there's no words for it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a
I,
miracle. I want to ask Sarah a question actually.
yeah,
Sorry to cut across you there. You can come back to this point, Sarah.
yeah,
I want to pick up on something you said. Sarah, you've been in nursing for close to 2 decades and more than 2 decades.
yeah,
You've been a bedside nurse, you've been a street nurse, you've been in the most grungy parts of nursing that there is. So I'm going
yeah.
to ask you how important it is for the people who are watching this podcast. It's a very important question. Is the will to live and the will to heal?
You know, the one of the biggest things that I talk about in one of my first sessions with my clients is having a strong reason for living
Mm-hmm,
is a universal factor for a desire to heal.
mm-hmm,
And in the DSEM, the mental health textbook of conventional system, one of the definitions of depression is not having a strong reason for living.
yeah.
And we know that when people are low or feeling low moods or depressed clinically, there is like a giving up of what's the point? Why am I here? And so if I'm going to work with someone, one of the first sessions is let's find your strong reason for living. Let's find out why you're here. Let's find out what gives you joy and love. And yesterday when David and I were talking and I was on the beach and the sun was shining and it was gorgeous here out at the lake, and he was like, "Wow, you're glowing." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is one of my strong reasons for living. I love nature. I love being out. I love feeling the energy of the water and the sand." And sometimes we think that our strong reason for living needs to be this big thing, like, big purpose. And we want to bring that back to very, very small, minute things, because some people might not have tomorrow or the next day or a year from now. But what do you have in this moment? I want to see that sunset again. I want to feel the sand on my feet. I want to have that water. Or maybe I want to see my babies laugh again, or I want to go to this family reunion. What's your strong reason? And if you can help your clients connect to that feeling, honestly, for my practice, my work is mostly done then. Because then they're like, oh yeah, it feels really good to change my diet. It feels really good to listen to my intuition about what I should be doing today. It feels really good to move my body. But if you don't have that, then the changes that need to happen in your life around maybe a big diagnosis or a chronic illness, it's going to be met with effort and resistance and even shame. I have to change this or I have to do this. No, you don't have to do anything. What's your strong reason for living? And let's work from that foundation and let's make the changes together through that, through the support. So it's a combination of, I believe that you are capable of healing. And I also believe that if you connect to your soul's, purpose, which it might just be sand on your feet today. Great. Let's talk about that. Let's do that. So is, that, I guess that's that's the foundation of probably everything that I do. Let's find out why you're here, what you want to do.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to direct this to Yvonne, and this is going to be a layered question as usual. All right. The layered question is simply this. There is something called, well, we used to refer to it in hyperbaric oxygen therapy as a kind of healing overkill. When people are on a particular path, or they get sick, they're not used to being sick. Like, I don't know, I run, I bike, I hike and stuff. Why am I sick? And then something goes wrong with them, and then they go to the opposite end of the spectrum and they throw everything but the kitchen sink at whatever disharmony is in their system. We're taking drugs, we're taking green spirulina drinks, we're taking every vitamin that we can get our hands on, we're taking like close to 16 pills a day for different things and so on. You want to speak to that because there is such a thing as going too far east is always west, right?
Yeah. And I mean, balance in everything, right? There has to be a balance in everything. I talk to my clients about this all the time. There has to be, like, there's so many people that it's just this like give, or you're doing. And there has to be an intake, right? And with your healing journey, there has to be releases. So like I've always looked at when our body expresses sickness or something, that's your body's way of detoxing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a way of looking like, what's wrong with my body? I'm doing all these things. It's like, well, your body needs to release at some point. There has to be, in order to be, just like you said earlier, David, you can't just always be going up, your head in the clouds. There has to, in order to ascend, you have to descend first. In order to get well, you need to release all that's been inside of you first. And that's a big part of spinal flow, is we need to release these blockages that are held within our body. And just like Sarah said, like a part of that too, like people will ask me sometimes like, oh my gosh, I just felt this like amazing bliss and joy. Does that mean my body's releasing that? And it's like, no, it means that you've released something that was blocking that or hindering that. And now your body's remembering that, and that's such a beautiful thing for people to like have that realization of like, communication with our body. That's the biggest thing. And that's the, I do embodiment dance. And I always thought that was the best way I can get embodied in my body. And then I found Spinal Flow. And it was like, Spinal Flow really gets you back into your body, speaking to your body. What is your body telling you? Exactly what Sarah said too. I encourage my clients, like, take yourself on a date. Find what it is. Just like she said, what is your joy? What is your passion? Celebrate the little things. People sometimes will tell me like, oh my gosh, last week I had, my shoulders started expressing this, or I had like all this detoxing. I didn't know what's going on. And I'm over here like, yes, this is your body's way of working, right? Like, this is what we need to do. There needs to be that ebb and flow. It can't always be, like you said, David, it can't be all the way over here or all the way over there. And that's what Spinal Flow is doing. It's bringing you back to that pure balanced state.
Which
And
leads up, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Sorry, finish that thought.
no, that's it. It's pure balanced state, but within that pure balanced state, you need to go here, you need to go there, you need to go up, you need to go down. It's not a just straight path here. That doesn't work that way.
I am having a wonderful interview this morning. I am we're gonna be touching on some subjects. Sarah, question for you.
Yes.
You are a nurse, so I assume you understand the concept of compassion. Would you please explain to the audience, because I have seen this several times, I'm just taking the question on, that there is compassion and healing even for the self, right? And so a lot of people, even when they get into this overkill mentality, and ironically speaking, the people that get into this mentality are the healthiest people. And when something goes wrong, is, oh no. Some of them are practitioners. Just saying. Let's be clear. There's an old saying: physicians make the worst clients.
Yep.
And so there is a kind of impatience with the body when it is that people get sick. Okay,
Yeah.
they get angry and they want it gone. All right. Oh, look, my arm is feeling a bit sore. Let's cut it off. And so there's a kind of compassion that has to be had when people are not feeling well and so on. And what would you say to these people who are frustrated with themselves, who are angry with themselves, that they are not feeling well, they're sick, they're going through some kind of healing crisis? We're going to talk about the healing crisis a little bit later. Yes, Yvonne, I'm pointing that to you, but go ahead, Sarah.
Compassion is an interesting word that I have found, because I think that in North America, women in particular have been taught from a very early age to be caregivers and to serve. And I'll just speak from my culture and my family of origin. Women, we just served, we cooked, we cleaned, we raised the babies at all expense, even to the expense of ourselves. And then that was deemed as being in service. And I think that we're so good, I think, serving others with compassion and being like, yeah, you deserve a rest, and let me make you soup, and let me help you, and let me watch the kids for you, and let me clean your house. And we're just so involved in that, and we were trained that way. But then a lot of the patients that I see, they're like, I don't know how to do that for myself. I don't know how to slow it down because I've been in service so much. And a lot of practitioners or nurses or, people that are in the health industry, they really want to love people. It's built into their DNA, and we're also designed that way, just to be of service and to help and to offer, our gift to the world. And we really have not been trained very well to step into what does our body feel, and not and serve from a place of overflow. We often serve from a place of lack, because we haven't taken the time to be in nature or connect to our reason for living or our joy, and we serve from an empty cup. And I try in my teaching with my clients to, what would it feel like if you serve from the overflow? Like, how do you get an overflow? And I just think, if you look at a teacup and you're like, okay, reason why we have a saucer is to catch the overflow. And in some cultures, like, you drink the overflow, you pour the tea, and then from the overflow, you don't waste that. You drink it. And I'm just wondering, I don't really have a great answer for you, David, because I think that I'm even in my practice, I'm still learning how to do that. And I teach nursing students as well. How do we give from a full cup? What would that look like if you walked into the unit and you were full and you were well and you were healthy and you were whole? And it starts with like the basic activities of, am I feeding myself well? Not just with food, but with people, with thoughts, with intentions. Am I taking the time to actually check in with my body before I'm of service? And we sometimes think like, well, that's selfish. That's only selfish because that's what we've been taught. That's
Mhm.
only selfish because that's what we know. And that's actually not correct. This is why we have a major compassion fatigue, burnout within the healthcare system. And I see it every day. People, not just in conventional, but in complementary too, right now, we're burned out. And
Mhm.
we're burned out because we were taught improperly to be of service from an empty cup. And so, if we want to come back into this idea of community, and this is one of the reasons why David and I have created the Integrative Health Network, was because we know that practitioners need to be filled up, overflowing. And for those of you that were at our Alaska cow ceremony, people left overflowing. There was love, there was compassion, there was like, people want to celebrate what I do while they're also serving in their,
Mhm.
magic. And I was just like, yes, that's what it is. There is enough work. There is enough patience. We don't need to be in competition. And we want the compassion to be back, and not as a forced compassion, but as a deep rooted, I am full, I am loved, I am supported, and I have a community backing me. That's what we need. That's where compassion will come back.
Yeah, thank you. I remember during the last 5 years, since 2020, when that thing happened, that COVID thing happened, I saw a lot of practitioners during that time. Now, I have a device that checks the SpO2 on practitioners. The healthcare practitioners were completely drained.
Yeah.
It was extremely bad. And I'm like, are you taking care of yourself? And they're like, we don't have time for that. This is the
Mhm.
kind of stuff that was coming out of healthcare practitioners' mouths. We don't have time for that. And I had to remind them, in your training, I am quite sure they told you all, find yourself a practitioner
Mhm.
because you're a practitioner.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
another thing that we really need to emphasize in compassion. This is another reason why we have this cacao ceremony, because people do need to recharge, and they need to recharge because everybody in life is going to experience, if you are learning any kind of healing science, a
Mhm.
healing crisis of your own. I don't care whether you're
Yeah.
traditional, Sarah. You had your healing crisis. I still
Mhm.
get that mine.
Yeah.
So, Yvonne, since that's part of what you do, we're both Reiki masters here. Talk to people about what a healing crisis is.
Oh yeah, and this is such an important topic to bring up, because yeah, people don't focus on this. And even within my clients, talking with them, I'm always having that same conversation that Sarah just put so beautifully, of like, you cannot be filling from an empty cup. It needs to be that overflow, because
Mhm.
at some point your body will stop you. Your body and I mean, it's also like taking in so much. Like, I had a healing crisis of like taking in and doing all the things and not giving my time, my body and my spirit the time to integrate. That's another
Mhm.
part of it, is integration of all the things that we're doing, because at some point your body is like, hold up here. I can't keep giving, or I can't keep bringing in without you caring for this
Yeah.
beautiful vessel that we
Yeah.
call home, right? Like, how often do we stop and we talk to our body and we ask our bodies, what is it that you need? Or
Mhm.
just sit in that silence and listen to what our body is telling us, right? To be out in nature, sitting under a tree and just listening,
Yeah.
the importance of like even just birds, the birds chirping. You know, it's all those simple things, you know, where people would talk about like stop and smell a flower. When's the last time you have stopped and smelled a flower? Right? Those are the important things, because if we're not taking care of ourselves in this vessel, you will have that healing crisis.
Yeah.
And your body will completely shut down. And you won't be able to be of service to others because you're not being of service to yourself first.
Exactly.
And just as Sarah had said, like we did grow up in this culture of this like give, 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 and that it was selfish to like put yourself first. You have to put yourself first in every aspect, in your spiritual journey, in your physical journey, in your health journey. You need to come first. You know, as a mother, like how many times was I was way behind like all the list of things, right? Until you shut down, until you have that healing crisis, and then you can't do anything, right? And this is a big, big part of, you know, this modern day culture, Western culture of like being on your own. You know, there's no community anymore. There's no living in the villages. There's no aunties helping each other and uncles like teaching our little ones, and like, why are we putting all of our elders that have all the wisdom, all the knowledge into these homes, and then we're not able to talk to them. We're not able to see to them. They have that wisdom, you know, that wisdom that we so long for.
Yeah.
You know, and this is
Excellent.
how
It's not often that once again I gotta drop the explosion. I gotta use the sound effects. Points made. Truth bomb right there.
Yeah.
Right, that is a truth bomb. Sarah, I want to expand this conversation because I want you to also chime in here. It's not only the fact that people are stressed taking care of others, but the entire social structure, because we are fragmented, people are not talking to each other and so on, and people are busy with the concept of survival every day. They're stressed to hell out. Okay. Over the last 2 or 3 years, life has become harder for a lot of people, right? People are not seeking help specifically because of things like financial constraints. People are not seeking help because they are weighed down, because now they feel like they have to try harder, be more, do more. So if you are a mother or a single mother who's working, as an example, your life has become probably 3 times harder in the last 2 to 3 years. And this is causing a different kind of crisis because people are becoming insular in how they operate, right? So I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for the following. And community is being destroyed as a result of it. Sarah, I wanted to speak on this because I want to get your perspective, because you grew up in a more communal type situation. So please explain to the audience the importance of community and still reaching out even though you are stressed to the maximum.
Well, I think that I can't speak to the idea of community without, like you said, David, like talking about families, and the point that Yvonne made about how we have fragmented ourselves in North America and think that, oh, we can do it on our own and we don't need
Yeah.
the aunties and the uncles. And you know, in some cultures, like 40 days after you have a baby, the aunties and the mums and the women come around. And you're not allowed to get out of bed. You are fed, you are watered, and the only job you have is to feed that baby. And what that does is it really holds you in tenderly in a container where you are allowed to be as you are healing from creating a soul. They understood the importance of that. And then also in other cultures, when a person in the community is sick, it is thought that they are holding the sickness of the whole community, and so they are tenderly taken care of, nursed back to health, because that person has now accepted that illness as my opportunity to help heal the whole community. So if we think illness not as an individual, something's wrong with you, you got a virus, or you got chronic illness, or you got cancer, or I got cancer. No, our whole, if one has it, the whole community has it.
Yes.
And we've lost that. And so what I think, when I think about how do we heal in community, and I always came back to, especially as I started to create Sarah Elizabeth coaching, my intention was I want people to have a soft place to land where they are feeling supported, educated, loved, and no shame. If you are sick, we are sick. If you heal, we heal. And that's what we're creating here at Integrative Health Network, is who are the people with this overlying intention of we are all ill if one is ill. We are one. And so I may be doing this little tiny modality where people want conventional and they want integrative, and I can help them weave that. But maybe they have a propensity for spinal flow. What is that thing that's going to help you heal? How can we create a community around you? And one thing that I wanted to say about Yvonne's point, that people, when they're in a health crisis, tend to get into chaos. Like they're going to miss something. If I don't do surgery and then chemo and then bio and then, IV vitamin C and then this and then that, then I'm the one that has not healed myself because I wasn't involved in all of these healing modalities. And what it does is it actually puts your body in stress mode, because you feel you're making decisions based on fear. And when you have a community around you that is holding you really tenderly and saying, let's tap into your wisdom, your intuition. And instead of making someone make a decision overnight, you have to do chemo tomorrow. Okay, wait a second, maybe. Let me think about that. Let me feel about that. Or you have to do chemo and Reiki and energy healing and get rid of all these negative emotions. And what we want is, we actually want people to have the space, the sound, the nature, to be like, what do I sound like?
Yeah.
What do I hear here in my heart of what is the right path for me? And to be able to do a practice like Spinal Flow and be like, how did that feel? And practitioners who are actually doing a really good job will check in with their clients and be like, tell me how that went. Like, there's follow-up. And we want practitioners to be able to create a container and hold it really well for people as they do a health crisis. So, yeah, like, we can't do it alone.
Yeah, I have to follow up on this point with Yvonne. Yvonne, she brought up a very important point that Sarah did. She brought up the point of the shame around being not well. There is shame and there is guilt that is associated with people who are struggling. Okay. Now, I really want your perspective on how do people deal with the shame and guilt, because you would have experienced this, because people think that these things are negligible in the healthcare spectrum, but they're not. They're not negligible. Shame and guilt and the whole stigma about you are not well. You're always so fragile.
Can I add to, Yvonne? I'm going to add to, people often say my body betrayed me. So there's shame in that too. So maybe speak about that as well, because that comes up every client of mine. My body betrayed me.
And to me, that's the disconnect that we have from our bodies. That is the what has come from being disconnected from listening to our bodies. We think that our bodies have failed us, or we think that there's something wrong with us. And that's just our bodies speaking to us, because our bodies are always speaking to us. It's whether we're listening or not. And when we stop listening to our bodies are only going to speak louder.
Yeah.
And then they speak louder, right? And then it moves from the discomfort to the dis-ease, right? Because then our bodies are trying to yell at us because we're not listening. We're so disconnected, right? And it's like, our bodies are always trying to just bring us back to pure balance that we innately are, right? And when we're not listening to that, we see that as our bodies failing us instead of just stopping and pausing and caring for ourselves. Exactly how both of you have put that, right? It's not a way to shame our body. It's a way to get back in touch and in tune with our body.
Yeah.
You
I,
know, how
I,
are we listening?
I also find that with people, or usually this happens in a situation, usually in a family situation. If the mother is not well, she experiences shame, a lot of shame, and it's like I can't function as I once did. What's going to happen to my kids? I am a bad mother for not feeling well. There's a lot of shame in that. I have heard that several times. Ironically, I've heard that from practitioners who are mothers who are not feeling well. So it's not necessarily something that's considered, it's a deep rooted social kind of
Totally.
construct that we have, which is what Sarah was saying earlier on, to keep being of service. And look, I want to say something here. I think a lot of our society depends on shame for what they perceive as good things, because shame keeps people in line, and people do this, and people know that they have to do this, and to be a good man you should be doing this, and to be a good woman you should be doing that. And there has been a rebellion against this all over the world. People are not having it anymore. It's like, yeah, no.
No.
Especially this new generation is like, yeah, no, we're not dealing with that anymore. No.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we did not understand the impact on public health.
Yeah.
Over the last few decades, we began to understand, wait a minute, we have illnesses popping up that never used to pop up before. What's with this epidemic of autoimmune diseases, which is basically your body rebelling against its own self? Okay, Sarah and Yvonne, I want you all to address this point.
Yeah. Well, a big part is like, are you resting? Are you giving your body the rest that it needs when it needs it? Like, that's a huge thing of guilt, right? Especially, I mean, Sarah knows this too. Like, as a mother, it's like if you need to rest or you're tired, there's this like stigma of like you're not doing something, but you are, because you need to fuel up this this temple in order to be able to give to others. And so many people, like within my practice, asking them, have you given yourself permission to rest? And they're like, oh, I just have too many things to do. Okay, but those things can wait. Those dishes can wait. That laundry can wait. That like this temple cannot wait, because at some point it will shut down.
Yeah.
It will.
Well, Tanya,
And
I think that. Sorry, sweetie.
no, I was just gonna say there's sometimes it's like you get that question of like, well, why are you so tired? My body needs rest. Like, honor that. Honor the rest that your body needs, the stillness. Like, yes, I do the importance of movement and are moving our body, but they're again, in the balance of that, it also needs that stillness.
Yeah. I think that building on that, Tanya, we have misaligned with the idea of who we think we are. And we lost, like, I am not just mom. I am not just wife. I'm not just friend. Those are things that I do, but who are you being? Who do you think that you actually are? And I think bringing in practitioners to help remind clients that it's not what you do. And when you have, it's all stripped away, especially in a chronic illness. This is why people have the shame. Like, my body betrayed me because it's not allowing me to, do all the things that I'm supposed to do and be in the roles that I'm supposed to be in. And so then it really strips, like, chronic illness strips away the false identity of who you actually are. And sometimes that's needed to be like, okay, your whole identity was created by being, for me, being a nurse and being a mom. And when I got sick and I was like, oh, I can't really nurse and I can't really be a mom, then who am I? What worth do I have in this world if I'm not those things? And they're so tied up in our identity in North America, especially. And that's why we put old people in homes, because they're just like, well, you can't do anything anymore.
Yeah,
And so we've
you're not of
lost,
any use to the
yeah,
society.
you've lost essence. And we're essence. We are souls. We came here to do something magical. And even if that magical thing is just today, I have my feet in the sand, that's enough. Like, a tree doesn't need to be more than a tree. But yeah, we've created these constructs that are actually false. And so bringing our clients back into, I'm going to help you remind you of who you actually are. You may take on the role of a mom in this moment, or a wife, or a job, or, whatever, but that's not who you are.
You
So
know,
let's find that out. And that's
you know,
fun. That's like magic.
in another country, I worked temporarily. I was called into a geriatric hospital, and I would give the older folk the exercises and so on. You know what struck me more than anything else? And I taught different levels. For those of you who don't know, hard to believe, I did teach yoga for many, many years, and Pilates, and most physical and martial arts as well. So I remember that these older folk had so much life in them.
Mm-hmm.
They had so much, they were funny, they were witty. I used to look forward to going to the geriatric hospital to teach. They were competitive. They were like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
aren't you guys? And so when it is that you decommission, is the word that the public sector uses. When you
Yeah.
decommission these older folks and you say, well, you're not useful anymore, and so on, you have no idea what you're talking about. Okay? Because they have life in them and they understand things that even me, with my big brain and my degrees and stuff, could not understand. So there is a point to be had there. They understand life from an experiential point of view, and they grew up in a time when community was important.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is that aspect, which is why they got to the ripe old age that they were now, which is what we're not doing, which is a problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I do think that generally speaking, the stress in public health has been a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But this is another thing for another time, but I want to just mention it here. It seems like everything is trying to poison you nowadays. Okay? The food is
Mm-hmm.
not what it used to be. So our nutrition is lacking.
Yeah.
We go to work is stress, and let's not forget good old social media. Here we are trying to promote something good, but I'm quite sure the political campaign that's either scrolling above, if you're doom scrolling, or below, where somebody shouting somebody over, calling them a Nazi or calling them this phobic or that phobic, I am sure that will get more likes than this interview. And I'm just telling you, everything seems to be trying to push people towards a state of, and I hate to have to use this cliche, this is.
Yeah.
Guys,
Yes.
speak on your experience of public health and this way with your clients.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you said it so profound. Like that is a nail has been hit right on the mark. So many people right now, what I'm seeing is coming because it's like they've been failed. Like either they're being told that what they're feeling in their bodies is not actually happening. And like that is one of the worst things we can be telling people, that what they who knows your body better than you? Right. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, my battery. I forgot to charge my phone.
It's okay.
Um, but like who knows your body more than you do, right? So being told that's a huge thing, right? Again, that goes to that disconnect, bringing you back to like your body. You know your body better than anybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, the scrolling, the food, I talk about this quite a bit with spinal flow, because one of the blockages that you form is a chemical imbalance, a blockage within your body. And I truly believe in this day and age that we live in now, it is all around us, so no matter how clean of a diet you eat, No matter how clean your environment may be, our food, our water, our air quality, the EMF, like the LED lights, like all the things, it is pushing us to a dis-ease. But the thing to get back to remember is how truly powerful we are. And the power and the light that we harness within us is so much more powerful than any of that, you know, and it's getting back to the community. It's connecting back to, oh, thank you. My partner just got me my charger. Let's see. Okay. Thank you.
Talking about recharging ourselves. Go ahead.
I'm recharging ourselves. Even that, right? It's leaning on other people, you know, like Sarah, you brought it up earlier of like the different practitioners. Like I see all these different practitioners as different organs and parts of our body, and we're all helping each other, right? And at different times, maybe you're over here with this practitioner, and then, you know, then your body's needing this practitioner over here, or this wisdom and this knowledge, or having this conversation with this person. Again, this is what has this separation, this fragmentation that has happened to us, has put us into this, like, well, so many things, the competition, the like, you know, when it's like, we talked about this before we went like live on the interview, like, I see all these other practitioners of like, I just want to share you because you have this gift, you have this wisdom and this knowledge that can help, like, well, me as well, but they can help my clients over here, you know, and that is the beauty of it. And that's what we experienced at the cacao ceremony, right? Being able to go around and share and to learn of like, you know, this beautiful person I was sitting next to. Oh my gosh, like, can I get your contact info? Because you like, either I need you or there's somebody over here that needs you, right? And this is what like is so beautiful about what you guys are creating, because it's this community that we need to come back to. Right? There's so many different things that we don't know about, or that we, you know, we've just been in this mindset of like, this is my career and this is how I build my career and that's how I get to the top. It's not how you get to the top. That's how you burn out.
Yeah.
That is exactly how you burn out.
I had this picture in my mind, and we use it in our IHN advertising, but it's of this, you know, watercolor, beautiful light being. And in each of that components of that picture, there's different organs. There's the lungs and the heart and the connective tissue and the brain and the lips and the nose and all these things. And in conventional systems, you know, you go to the heart surgeon and they don't deal with the lungs, and you've got to go to the lung specialist, and then you've got to go to the foot specialist, and they never talk. No one talks. And my clients are constantly like, why is no one talking? And I just think, oh, we're fixing that. We're talking because we do want the person who's dealing with heart opening cacao ceremony to talk with the person who's doing the spinal flow and making all these beautiful connections, because we are one. Our bodies need talking, and they're designed to talk. Our cells friggin' talk all the time, and we're not telling. Your heart impacts your toes. Your heart impacts your brain, and you know, your fascia and your lungs and your skin. They're all visiting all the time and helping each other, just like the roots of a tree. You know, they're constantly seeing, wait, what does my community need? And let me give some of me down to my roots into the community. So those that are not well are going to be well again. That's the image that IHN has.
Yeah, I'm going to weigh in on this one. There is a problem, which is being solved right now with what Sarah and I are doing. There is a kind of insularity that has taken over the wellness space. If you are thinking that, well, I just have my clients here, I have my family, I have my clients and my family, and this is my career, and I'm going home, and that's it, then you're operating from a position of lack. Because let me tell you something, and I've said this on previous broadcasts. One thing, there are not enough practitioners anywhere in the world to service the 8 billion people who are going to need your assistance at some point. 8 billion. Think about that. So when you're operating from this place of lack and you're like, oh, I don't deal with this practitioner, I don't deal with that practitioner because they might steal my clients or something. It's nonsense. It really is. So what we're doing and what we did at the cacao ceremony was we had everyone introduce their modality, and we had everyone introduce their specialties, whether they had specialties and so on, because the worst thing in a community is for people to need help and not know where to get it or how to get it. Because, Sarah made the point about, you got a heart surgeon and so on, and then you have very fancy names for each one of these specialties, and no one knows what they mean. Right? We just lost Yvonne, but she'll be back on very soon, and no one knows what they mean. And I just want to appeal to those of you who are watching this broadcast.
And
Right?
David, maybe we can talk about our little cacao ceremony
Yeah, we're
while
gonna
we
do that.
serve on.
I just want to appeal to you guys to change the thinking and broaden the thinking. We're trying to build a community, which is why we're doing all of this outreach and so on. So when practitioners come speaking to you all and so on, approach them with an open heart. Sarah, let's talk about the cacao ceremony while Yvonne is coming back online.
Yeah, we booked the same space again. It's so beautiful. It's just this really beautiful, industrial, warm, cozy space that we created for the community of Regina and surrounding areas. And we have booked again August 28th as our cacao ceremony night. And we have brought in Sundance and his partner Karen to support us as we share in that evening of connection, of sound, of light, and of one of the things that I love to do is create circle, and we have created a space where we share. We use a talking piece, and we share what we are doing in our lives, and we share what service we offer to other people within that ceremony, and also people that maybe are not in the service industry. They're coming and being part of that space. And sometimes, like the other time that we had cacao ceremony, it was really beautiful because someone said, I've got this really beautiful beach house, and maybe you guys want to host an event there. And so we don't always understand or know kind of the weaving that the universe does to bring people together and be like, oh yeah, we kind of need a retreat center, close to the city. So that's, I think, what we really loved about last ceremony is we were able to showcase people, share what we do, and really like love on people, fill their cup up. And we are so happy that we get to do this again on August 28th, which is a Thursday. It's a Thursday
And
night.
Yvonne, we're hoping, because we are not hogging the show here, we're hoping that in the future you want to facilitate, you do ecstatic dance. And boy, do we have a space. We have a
Yes.
dance floor. We can like dance all night until the sun comes up. So, guys, so speak about your experience at our cacao ceremony and speak about just tell people everything that they need to know about Earthymama Wellness as well.
Yeah, so the cacao ceremony I had shared at the ceremony, it literally dropped on my plate in divine timing. After a month of go, go, go. I mean, it was so beautiful. Evan's mom was here visiting from Ireland, but it was a go, go, go weekend. And as we talked about earlier, I needed that pause. I needed to come back to center, right? So it was like I got that message, and it was like that day, and it was like, I won't say it, but hell yeah. I won't say what I did say. And then it was so beautiful because my mom and my daughter got to come and experience it with me. And that in itself is such a beautiful, like that generation, right? Of the crone, I guess I'm kind of moving out of the mother into the wild one, but like, and the maiden, right? Like, it's so beautiful to have that and for them to experience all that. And it was just such a beautiful time to like come back to my center, to experience all that you guys had to offer with with the solfeggio frequencies and the lighting and the sound and the beautiful cacao and the music. It was exactly what my soul needed. And then we went around and we got to like actually like meet the community. And that part for me was so beautiful to know who I'm sitting across or who I'm sitting beside, and to truly get to know this person, because that is what we're lacking so much is the community and being able to share, because we all have gifts. You know, you don't have to be a practitioner of some sort to have a gift. We all have gifts. And just like Sarah said, sometimes that's just showing up and being who you are. You know, that can be the greatest gift of all, of just being.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do also do embodiment dance. It is slightly different than a static dance. It is, again, to really get you in your body and to listen to your body and what is your body speaking to you. So I curate beautiful playlists that really speak to you, that some of them will have different frequencies to help speak to your cells on a certain level. But it's, again, to just another way of movement to help you.
Okay, we may have lost Yvonne again, but just so we understand, the kind of dance she's talking about is a dance form that is freedom of expression personified. And so, for those of you who are thinking, oh, that sounds cool, but I can't dance, nobody cares what you look like when you dance. Nobody cares what you look like when you dance. Just move. I don't care if
Yeah.
you move your little toe. We are good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it, David. It's like your body was meant to move. When you look underneath a microscope and you start to see cells, they are always moving. They're moving, they're shifting, they're dancing, they're talking. You know, they're just social networking because they're trying to figure out, what do we need? Oh, we're good. Okay, let's just chill, or let's remake, or let's find, these parts of us that need to have more healing. And so when clients are sick in my practice, I want them to move, because when they move, they heal. And what Yvonne offers is this, movement and dancing and healing, and it's really powerful to be part of that. So we're excited to invite her to one of our cacao ceremonies and do that. Yeah.
Yes. There's a couple. So, for those of you who are wondering what event we're talking about, it's a cacao ceremony. It is, well, it's not just a cacao ceremony, because we do have Sundance as well on tap, who's going to be performing for us with his partner, Karen. We also have Sarah's back.
Back.
We all we also have like a little dance thing that we usually do at the end, if you guys are interested in that. And for those of you who are wondering where this is and how to contact it, we'll be in touch. If you're watching this video, the link will be probably in the description of this video. It is at 1761 Wallace Street in Regina. It is downtown, so you can come after work. We're going to be putting that after work. You guys could come straight after work. We have a light show. We have um,
Meditation.
subliminal meditation and subliminal and superliminal beats for you guys. And it is an experience worth happening. And I know that I enjoyed it specifically because everyone was hugging. Good. Everyone should get a hug.
That's exactly it, David. Yeah, we're excited to host again and join. We're going to set up a registration link, and we're going to set up some really good networks for you guys. And if you are a practitioner, please feel free to bring your card and bring an offering of what you do, so that we can share it with others and network a little bit during and after the ceremony.
Okay, so Yvonne is not here, so I'm going to call out her information. This interview was to highlight Yvonne in our community. She is definitely someone that you definitely want to know. I believe she has an interview series as well. So I'm going to call it out, earthymamawellness.ca.
Mhm.
Her email is spinalflowwave@gmail.com, and her Instagram is at earthymamawellness.
Mhm.
Guys, please go subscribe, like, follow, and blow up her Instagram with likes,
Yeah.
because I'm going to do that as soon as this is done.
Yeah.
So, and for Sarah, you want to give your information?
Oh, yeah, sure. I am Sarah Elizabeth Coaching on Instagram, and you can also find me at www.sarahelizabethcoaching.com. And I provide services for people in Saskatchewan who want to do an integrative, conventional, complementary oncology kind of journey care plan. So you can reach out to me through those platforms.
And my name is David Ellis. You guys would find me at https unifiedhealthsystems.com. Yvonne is back. I want to put on screen. You can get me on Instagram at Unified Health Regina, which is probably where you're going to be watching this. And my email is info@unifiedhealthsystems.com. Now, Yvonne, I just did a promo for you because you were gone, but I'm gonna let you give your preferred contact information. Go ahead.
Thank you guys both. We're getting a thunderstorm here, so I apologize for.
Oh, I'm hearing it where I am. I'm hearing it very loud.
But yeah, I do have a website, so it's www.earthymamawellness.ca. I am also on Instagram, just under Earthymama Wellness. You can also email me if you want to chat deeper at spinalflowwave@gmail.com.
Mhm.
Hey guys, oh, I forgot to say what I do. I do PEMF therapy. I do red light therapy. I do most of medical aesthetics with a gentler outlook, not lasers burning everybody. All right. um, I do Lucia light therapy as well, which is a hypnagogic lights. I'm a hypnotherapist and a counselor. Okay, guys, we will see you in the next interview. And Yvonne, this will not be our last interview. I don't think so.
No, we have
That
way
would
more
be
to talk about.
All right, guys, we will see you in the next show. Take care, guys.